You are a beginning agency owner, whether it's a web agency, marketing agency, or any other kind of agency. I don't know, maybe you do taxes for someone, you work in accounting, law, or even some other activity that companies hire you to do for them. My name is Tomasz Cernovsky, and I am the owner of the online marketing agency, Cernovsky, which is named after me. For the past 11 or 12 years, maybe even 13, I haven't counted it down to the exact month. In the field of online marketing, which we've been dedicated to, we've generated over 1 billion crowns in profit for our clients. We've worked on campaigns for huge clients, but of course, we also manage campaigns for up-and-coming or, let's say, mid-sized clients. That means not exactly for complete beginners, but starting from tens of thousands per month. In marketing investments, we can be a partner. However, this video isn't primarily for people or companies who want to hire us. This video is for others, I would say colleagues, who also run agencies, whether they're marketing, web, or any other kind of firm. And I want to share with you the key mistakes that primarily beginner agency owners make. And the first mistake, if you are or if you want to be a marketing agency, a web agency, any kind of agency that wants to work well, is that you'll often be tempted by a kind of initial glitter. And that first glitter is that clients will start hiring you, or rather they'll start asking you for services that maybe they're not your core, they're not your main focus. They're not what you do best. It's like, yeah, that's our thing, that's what we do best, but they'll also ask you for something a little different, and so on, and so on. In our case, for example, we're a marketing agency, and it happens quite often that someone asks us to produce something. Many people frequently reach out to us as guests. I'm actually driving here heading downtown to Prague. So now they're starting to work on the crosswalk. I just want to say that sometimes people approach us for things like building a website or an e-shop, which is just not what we do. And the reason we don't do it is exactly because when you start doing things that aren't your core, where we could probably manage if we put together a few people who know something about it, teamed up, and somehow combined it all together. But the problem arises when you start splitting your attention. You have limited attention, just like all of us. And when you start offering services that aren't your core, where you have the greatest added value, where you have the biggest, pardon the English term, your biggest edge, your competitive edge, that's when you start to lose. Because you begin doing something different. You have to learn it on the fly. It takes you longer than usual. You probably don't even enjoy it or find it fulfilling. It's demanding, difficult, and so on, and so on, and so on. And suddenly you find yourself in a situation where you would have been better off taking on 2 clients who are actually looking for the service you provide, the one you're really good at, the one you enjoy. Maybe you're even among the best at it. You have a good margin on it, you know how to do it, and you already have those efficiencies from just doing that work. That means, for example, if you focus on online marketing like we do, we simply know what we need to do. When someone approaches us for this, we know what it means, we know why it's happening, we know what to do about it, and so on. But if someone asks us to make a website and we started working on it, even though we don't regularly do websites, we don't do it often, then we won't know what to watch out for, what the typical mistakes from real-world experience that people often make when they want a website, or that owners of websites and e-shops make, so that we can explain them, or if needed, actually do them for them. Do them or not do them? So focus on 1, at most 2, specializations at the beginning. Don't even try, seriously, I'm being completely honest here. Don't try to be a jack of all trades. Like, don't try to be good at 5 different things right from the start. If after 5 or 10 years you're good at 3, 4, or 5 things, that's a different story. Because once you master your main skill, your main service, then what happens is that once you do this, you might find that you develop expertise in another service as well. And because you have that expertise in another area, you might be able to achieve better results for your client. That's because you have control over two things instead of just one. And by having control over two things instead of one, you have a handle on more parts of the client's business, which means you can probably do a better job overall. Yeah, there isn't some other supplier getting involved who sees things a bit differently and wants to do things their own way now. There's that thing where you're not really on the same page, you're not totally aligned 100%. When you are, you don't have to be 100% aligned, because he sees things a bit differently, he prioritizes other things, and so on. And because of that, even your, like in our case, marketing might not actually work all that well. If you're a starting agency, focus on one, at most two things that you really do, I'd say the best or really well. If it's just one, that's totally fine. If it's two, then do two. If it's three, pick just one or at most two. Don't do three for no reason, you'll scatter your attention and it just won't work well. I've already mentioned the reasons here. Another thing is, which I often see with starting agencies, or more precisely with the owners of those agencies. So I believe that might be you, or maybe you have the urge to start an agency or get into the agency business. So you look for the service where there's the most money. That means you're in a certain field, you know something about it. Let's say you're in the web agency business, and now you're going to look for which service will make you the most money, and that's the one you'll want to do. Which, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But again, it kind of goes hand in hand with rule number 1 that we talked about a moment ago. And that is, if you do what generates more money, but it's not something you understand or something you're good at, if it's not where you actually have an edge over your competition, then it's going to do the same thing all over again. You'll just scatter your attention. You won't be able to generate efficiency from doing something repeatedly. Put simply, doing it over and over from morning till night, because that's actually extremely efficient. Once you do something from morning till night, you just know how to do it. You've got it down, you have the exact processes, you know how to proceed with every different client, and so on. And because you have these processes, because you know all this, you're simply more efficient, and everything becomes a bit easier for you. Simplify, make it easier. You don't have that thing where you think about everything, are you going? And now, how am I supposed to do this? See, man, I last did this 3 months ago. How do I do this here? I did this 3 weeks ago. Oh my God, I don't know how to proceed here. Yeah, You get what I mean. These are the things that if you don't do anything regularly, you'll only do the stuff where the biggest money is, but maybe you don't really understand it. It's not your core thing, the thing you do best. Then unfortunately, it just won't work. Thank you. I'm having some coffee. I believe you're having some too, or maybe you're having something else. So let's move on to the next point. If you're interested in any of these points, definitely subscribe and hit the bell for this channel, and also like this video, because if you're interested in any of these points and let me know in the comments, I can do a deeper dive on it, since I've been in this field for 11 years now. We've really been doing this from morning till night for a very long time. We have results to show for it. We've worked with all kinds of clients, from small ones, even startups, we've done that too. Medium, large, all the way up to the biggest corporations like IKEA, Albert, Generali. Oh my God, so many of these big players. Moneta, we even had a client from Auto and so on. So basically the biggest players on the Czech market you can think of. Some campaigns were even with Skoda Auto and so on. So we've got some pretty solid information and experience from all this. Third point, look for a service where you have a competitive edge. That's what I already mentioned here. And a competitive edge in practice means you have something that others don't. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy. I get that. But really try to look for it. Look for something where you simply have some kind of competitive edge. Let me give you an example, okay? Say you're a marketing agency like us, and your competitive edge could be something that almost no one else in the field has. And that could be the fact that very few people actually have experience running their own e-shop, for example. And maybe you'll be doing marketing for e-shops. And as soon as you have that kind of competitive edge, like you've actually run one, two, or three e-shops, or even just one, but it was pretty successful, you generated some revenue, made some sales, and it worked, then you have a huge advantage because you know how things work on the other side. So you know what problems they most often deal with? E-shop owners. And if, as a marketer, you focus specifically on e-shops, that can be a huge added value for your clients. Because you've actually already been in the client's position. You know what bothers them in different situations, in different, how should I put it, stages of their business. You know this, and because you know it, it will make working with the client much easier for you. You know their problems, you know what they're currently dealing with, you know what's bothering them the most, or what steps to take in this or that situation, because you've already been through it yourself. That could be, for example, the competitive edge of marketing agencies that run campaigns for e-shops. Or if you're building e-shops for clients and you've already had your own e-shop, then you can provide value from the other side as well. You know what you had to deal with when you had your own e-shop. You know what the pitfalls were when it came to development. Maybe you even had some agencies that helped you with the development of your e-shop, website, and so on. Or even with marketing. And because you worked with them, you know how to work with agencies like that. And you know what those agencies did wrong and what they did well. And now that you're in the role of the agency, you're able to better understand the needs and what the client wants and expects from you. These are such great things that very few people have, because often the founder of an agency, whether it's marketing or web, just says, hey, I'm just going to make websites, let's say, and just goes and makes websites. And there's nothing wrong with that, but then he doesn't have that competitive edge, which means it's harder for him because he's basically in the same position as everyone else who starts agencies just like he did. So try to look for something like that, or if you don't have anything like that, try to come up with something. Ask artificial intelligence what it could be. If you talk to it for an hour or two, maybe it can help you figure out what your edge could be in the context of the activity you want to do. I mean, things like a marketing agency and so on and so on. So that's the third point. There you have it, gentlemen. And the whole point is that it's much better and easier to learn to be number one, to be one of the best at one thing, and to be able to deliver that extremely high added value for those potential customers. If, like us, you spend 11, 12, 13 years running online marketing campaigns on Facebook, Google, then TikTok came along, LinkedIn, Xcode, so Twitter, and so on, and you really do this from morning till night for that long, then you have, like we do, tremendous value for your clients because we know how these platforms work. We know how they change. We know how they evolve. We know which settings make sense and which don't in your specific context. It's not that a particular setting always or never makes sense, it's always about the client's context. We know what those campaigns need, what the algorithms need, how the algorithms work, and how they've shifted over the last 2, 3, or even 4 months. We know what a client like yours will probably need, what they'll likely want, and what they'll require, and so on. And that's something you naturally gain by doing this for years, by having years of experience. That's how you can get this competitive edge. That's what we did ourselves, actually, if I put it that way. And of course, we have some other things as well. I also had, when I was starting out, a few of my own e-shops, several of my own projects. So I see it from the other side as well, what's actually needed. I know those needs, I know those problems, I know the other side, and that's the first level. But the second level, or rather, these are the two things that we actually have, but of course, you probably won't be able to have them right at the beginning. You probably won't be able to have those 11 years of experience at the start. That's clear. And that's not a problem at all. That's totally fine. You just can't have it that way. That's simply how it is. But you can have something else instead. You can have experience from other industries, other fields, which you can put to use. You might have better empathy than other agency founders do. Meaning, you might understand the client from the outside better than, say, the founder of another agency. You might have access to certain talents, meaning you could have great people on your team. That's an extremely important thing when it comes to agencies. And so on and so forth. So you can stack these things on top of each other with that. There's really a lot you can come up with. And I need to mention again from my side that you should really think about this and really try to do it. Because if you don't make the effort, if you slack off here, you're just making everything much harder for yourself. And I don't just mean that as something I'm saying for the sake of it, but the fewer of these extra things you have here, the harder it's going to be for you to run your business. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to park here so I can run to where I need to go. I'm already in the center of Prague. Have a great day, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell, and also like this video. If you're a founder of an agency, write it in the comments. Let me know if you're a founder and what kind of agency you're starting so I can have more context for what kind of videos to make. Let me know if I should keep making videos like this, especially if you want them to be this long. Don't forget to check the video description and sign up for free for the waiting list of the online marketing community, which aims to become the biggest and best free online marketing community in the Czech Republic and Slovakia once it launches. We already have over 300 people signed up. Sign up so you don't miss out, so you don't have to think about it, and we'll send you an email as soon as we launch. There won't be any other email spam. And also, in this community, I'd like to start discussing these aspects of marketing agencies, especially for those just starting out. Agencies in general, what they should be doing, what they're doing wrong, what they should focus on, and so on. Since we have that experience, I think it could be nice to add something like this. But let me know in the comments if you're interested in this, if it's something you'd like to hear about, see, and if you'd like me to cover it here on YouTube as well. That's all from me. Check out yesterday's video here, it's really good, and I think it'll be hugely beneficial for you. And I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, most likely, since we're filming almost every day. Take care, bye.